I whitiau ki tērā tā te maunga nei e koronu ki etahi o ngā kai hāpai, kai mau ngā tinu pūtake e pāra ki ngā mahi mō te rarawa, e koronu ki a George Riley e pāna ki ita ngā taki nui mō i a tātou, e pāna ki te Oneroa Tohe e me mihi anō hoki kia koe e te whanunga tēnā koe.
Tēnā hoki rā koe, Cyril, me te hunga kato e ria mai nei ki te reo o tautoko, haa me a tātou o te rarawa ki a tātou katoa. Kia ora mai.
Ai, tēnā koe. Revive me in the spirit of te Oneroa Tohe, United Voices, and of course a kaupapa, not a new kaupapa. If you look at the history of te Oneroa Tohe from way back in the beginning of time, the destruction of that important hurahi that was once the hurahi of our mātou tupuna, from the planting of pines back in the 60s to the degradation of the environment around te Oneroa Tohe and the streams going into te Oneroa Tohe. Hey, it's tino take tēnei et whanunga George.
Aye, and above all of those, which you've encapsulated, the physical aspects very well in that brief introduction, is that it's Te Arawairua, Punuan. So there is a requirement for us to protect that and to enhance that for all iwi Māori for the North Mochi.
Ai tēnā koe hoa, and part of the settlement process between the iwi from Te Rara, was a deal made between the Crown Doc, or the Doc as a Crown agent, and Te Rarawa for the future management of that important hurahi e te whanunga.
Yes, so part of the settlement process for Te Eku included the establishment of a beach management board, one of those terrible co-governance arrangements, multi-iwi, multi-local councils, and the regional council as well. Just horrible that the rest of the world can't get on with each other in these things. Anyway, so that board has established a beach management plan, and the idea of Ngā Puawai is to give some substance to more than just the beach management plan being recorded in the local councils, as we want to see the community involved in establishing in enhancing, really, the mauri of Te Oneroa Tohe, where tohe will become one of the indicator species that the health of the beach is being upheld, and that the community access and benefits will be sustainable into the far future.
Tēnā koe te whananga. So how's that going? I know part of the kaupapa would be to help resource that. I mean, it costs money, and there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done to actually bring the environment back to a stage where it can actually contribute to the health of that particular area, George.
Yeah, so we're sort of modelling along the Integrated Kaipara Harbour Management Group, where Turiahau took a long time to get established. But once they did, then the research and the development resourcing that came towards them is in excess of $50 million. And it comes from various groups, including the Crown agencies like Ministry for the Environment, Te Puni Kōkiri, MPI and Fisheries, because there is commercial activity on the beach, plus philanthropics agents within this country and internationally. So we're trying to set up a long stream of research and projects that will benefit the beach ultimately. Of course, there are some difficulties in that we are locked into the pine forest adjoining the beach that was established with purpose to reduce the sand drift, but it's got these unintended consequences of reducing the water flow from the land across the beach, and this seems to be one of the more important transmission features for the survival of tohero. So we have to investigate, and there's to be some comparisons and contrasting with areas without pine forest adjacent, and we're lucky we've got some of those immediately to the south of Te Oneroa Tohe, around the Tanutanu, Waikiri, the north end of Mitimiti, and also at the northern end at Te Werahi, where historically we hear lots of stories of very large toiroa being available. There's no forest there, so we'd like to run some trials and some translocations of toiroa amongst others into those areas to build resilience and to act as control areas for assessing the impact of the forestry on the main body of the beach.
Tēnā koe, and part of that is the research, but also the ability for uri whakatupo or descendants of that beach to be involved in a real way.
Yes, and so that's, in terms of the contracting and the work to be done, we'd like each of the iwi who have alignment, in particular through the Beach Board statute. There are 4 reserve areas along the beach that are dedicated to each of the 4 iwi at present. And not forgetting the Ngāti Kahu and Te Pātu also have interests in the beach, but they're not in the statute as yet because they're going another path in the treaty settlements. But the door will be open for them over time to be engaged as well. And we'd like, in particular, around those reserve areas for the haukainga of those iwi and kaitiaki of the hapu associated with those areas to be doing the bulk of the work and to use it as a stepping stone for their own development in the Western world science paradigms, but also the maintenance of their mātauranga that applies to those areas.
Tēnā koe, George. I mean, this obviously is going to take some length of time. Yeah, so is this project being supported ongoingly by the government or other agencies as well?
Yes, so the first part, the Ngā Puawai conference, it follows a future search process of structured conversations involving 9 different sectors of people who have interest in the beach. So the first one for us was that it need to be overseen by Tara Waiua, those people who have knowledge about the requirements and the processes to uphold the kawa and the tikanga pertaining to that pathway. Also alongside there were locals, and alongside locals, tangata whenua, tourism operators, adjoining landowners, forestry interests, commercial interests from the fishing sector as well, and knowledge holders and research groups. And we broke those sectors, 8 persons from each sector, into different groups and ran through over the 3 days a series of questions investigating the past, the present and future aspirations to try and get some commonality across the wider community groups of the things we can work on immediately and over longer term, and where there are difficulties, we'll investigate those when our relationships are stronger and we've got some better baseline data to work with.
Ka pai, George, well, thank you for your time. Important take and a take that for a long time has been neglected and finally come to a situation where the hunga kanga, the tangata whenua, the ahika are able to actually return to the mahi, but also with the knowledge, the traditional knowledge and the knowledge of the modern science, together with the commitment of our hapu, our whānau, and the commitment to support in the way of funding by the government and other agencies. You know, we should see some good changes in the future for this special part of Aotearoa. Yes,
we hope it's successful. And we'd also like to, if it is, transplant the process to other sectors of the taiao, where there is a lot of multiple impacts on our natural resource, Papatūānuku, Tangoro, and see if we can work again in a broad collective community manner to deliver results and uphold our responsibility as tangata whenua.
Ka pai e horinga me miharoki kia koe atua karonga no ki ngā kore potamai e pāna ki tēnei take nui rawa tu tēnei te mihi kauna kia koe. Tēnā koe.
Tēnā hoki rā koe karo. Ka mea anō ki tunga nei e rongo mai ana. Tēnā tātou.